COVID-19 update. The Philippine President has placed the entire province under the stricter Modified Enhanced Community Quarantine or MECQ. Following are the IATF Omnibus Guidelines for the MECQ issued on May 20, 2021. Please be aware that the provincial government and each LGU may implement additional rules and regulations within the national guidelines. Guidelines for areas placed under Modified Enhanced Community Quarantine. Areas placed under MECQ shall observe the following protocols. 1. Minimum public health standards shall be complied with, at all times for the duration of the MECQ. 2. The movement of all persons shall be limited to accessing goods and services from permitted establishments, for work in such establishments, or for such other activities allowed in this section. As amended by Paragraph C of IATF Resolution 110, April 15, 2021. 3. Any person below 18 years old, those who are over 65 years old, those with immunodeficiency, comorbidity, or other health risks, and pregnant women shall be required to remain in their residences at all times. Except for obtaining essential goods and services, or for work in industries and offices or such other activities permitted in this section. Local government units or LGUs may relax the minimum age range down to 15 years old, depending on the COVID-19 situation in their respective jurisdictions. As amended by Paragraph A of IATF Resolution 79, October 15, 2020. 4. All establishments, persons, or activities permitted to operate, work, or be undertaken during ECQ, under Section 2 Number 4 of these guidelines shall be allowed to operate at full on-site capacity. 5. All establishments, persons, or activities not permitted to operate, work, or be undertaken during ECQ shall be allowed to operate at 50% on-site capacity, while encouraging work from home and other flexible work arrangements, where applicable. Notwithstanding the foregoing, and without prejudice to the authority of DTI to issue a negative list of industries, which shall remain prohibited even in areas under MECQ. The following establishments, persons, or activities shall not be permitted to operate, work, or be undertaken during MECQ. A. Entertainment venues with live performers such as karaoke bars, clubs, concert halls, theaters, and cinemas. B. Recreational venues such as internet cafes, billiard halls, amusement arcades, bowling alleys, and similar venues. C. Amusement parks or theme parks, kid amusement industries such as playgrounds, playroom, and kiddie rides. D. Outdoor sports courts or venues for contact sports, scrimmages, games, or activities. E. Indoor sports courts or venues, fitness studios, gyms, spas or other indoor leisure centers or facilities, and swimming pools. F. Casinos, horse racing, cockfighting and operation of cockpits, lottery and betting shops, and other gaming establishments except for the draws conducted by the Philippine Charity Sweepstakes Office. G. Indoor visitor or tourist attractions, libraries, archives, museums, galleries, and cultural shows and exhibits. H. Outdoor tourist attractions, I. Venues for meetings, incentives, conferences, and exhibitions. J. Personal care services which include beauty salons, beauty parlors, medical aesthetic clinics, cosmetic or derma clinics, makeup salons, nail spas, reflexology, aesthetics, wellness, and holistic centers, and other similar establishments. Acupuncture and electrocautery establishments, and massage therapy including sports therapy establishments. It also includes establishments providing tanning services, body piercings, tattooing, and similar services. Home service for these activities are likewise not permitted. K. Indoor dine-in services of food preparation establishments such as commissaries, restaurants, and eateries. 6. Agencies and instrumentalities of the government shall be fully operational, with a skeleton workforce on site and the remainder under alternative work arrangements, as approved by the head of agency unless a greater on-site capacity is required in agencies providing health and emergency frontline services, laboratory and testing services, border control, or other critical services, in accordance with the relevant rules and regulations issued by the CSC. 7. The co-equal or independent authority of the legislature, Senate and the House of Representatives, the judiciary, the Supreme Court, Court of Appeals, Court of Tax Appeals, and the lower courts, the Office of the Ombudsman, and the Constitutional Commissions, to implement any alternative work arrangements, is recognized. 8. Officials and employees of foreign diplomatic missions and international organizations accredited by the DFA, whenever performing diplomatic functions and subject to the guidelines issued by the DFA, may operate with an on-site skeleton workforce. 9. Only hotels or accommodation establishments with valid Department of Tourism accreditation shall be allowed to accommodate guests and clients, for legitimate purposes under a state of a public health emergency. The operations of such hotels and accommodation establishments, as well as ancillary establishments within their premises such as restaurants, cafes, gyms, spas, function halls, and the like, shall be subject to guidelines issued by the Department of Tourism and the IATF. As amended by Paragraph A Section 2 of IATF Resolution 43, June 3, 2020, and Paragraph C Section 2, 4, of IATF Resolution 95, January 15, 2021. 10. Gatherings outside of residences shall be prohibited. Gatherings at residences with any person outside of one's immediate household shall likewise be prohibited. However, gatherings that are essential for the provision of health services, government services, or humanitarian activities authorized by the appropriate government agency or instrumentality shall be allowed. Religious gatherings shall be allowed up to 10% of the venue capacity, provided that there is no objection from the local government unit where the religious gathering may take place. Provided, further, that the LGU may increase the allowable venue capacity up to 30%. The religious denominations should strictly observe their submitted protocols and the minimum public health standards. Gatherings for necrological services, wakes, interment, funerals for those who died of causes other than COVID-19 shall be allowed, provided that the same shall be limited to immediate family members, upon satisfactory proof of their relationship with the deceased, and with full compliance with the prescribed minimum public health standards for the duration of the activity. Face-to-face or in-person classes shall be suspended. The education sector shall operate in accordance with the guidelines of the Commission on Higher Education, Technical Education and Skills Development Authority, for Technical Vocational Education and Training, DepEd for Basic Education. 12. The road, rail, maritime, and aviation sectors of public transportation shall be allowed to operate, at such capacity and protocols in accordance with guidelines issued by the Department of Transportation. The use of active transportation such as biking is encouraged. 13. Law enforcement agencies shall recognize any of the following IDs. A. IATF IDs issued by the regulatory agencies with jurisdiction over permitted establishments or persons. B. Valid IDs or other pertinent documentation issued by accrediting organizations or establishments allowed under MECQ. C. If required by the LGU, local IDs for availing of essential goods and services. No other IDs or passes specifically exempting persons from community quarantine shall be required of workers of permitted establishments and/or offices without prejudice to requiring the presentation of other documents establishing the nature of their work. As amended by Paragraph B, IATF Resolution 46, June 15, 2020, and Paragraph B of IATF Resolution 106B, March 28, 2021. 14. The movement of cargo, delivery vehicles, as well as vehicles used by public utility companies, shall be unhampered. Shuttle services of permitted establishments shall not be subject to an ID system but shall maintain compliance with minimum public health standards. 15. Private corporations are encouraged to process payrolls online. Payroll managers and such other employees required for the processing of payroll shall be allowed to travel to their respective offices during MECQ. 16. Individual outdoor exercises such as outdoor walks, jogging, running or biking, are allowed within the general area of their residence, provided that the minimum public health standards and precautions such as the wearing of face masks, and the maintenance of social distancing protocols are observed. 17. Uniform curfew hours may be imposed by LGUs, subject to the guidelines issued by the Department of the Interior and local government. Workers, cargo vehicles, public transportation, and operating hours of permitted establishments, however, shall not be restricted by such curfew. 18. Any violation of the foregoing prohibitions shall constitute non-cooperation of the person or entities punishable under Section 9 Paragraph D or E, as the case may be, of Republic Act 11,332. Otherwise known as the Mandatory Reporting of Notifiable Diseases and Health Events of Public Health Concern Act, and its implementing rules and regulations. Note: we are not the IATF. We only provide the information and are not connected to any LGU. These guidelines are the valid regulations as of publishing this video. If you have any further questions, you may get in touch with your local government office in charge. To read the full Omnibus Guidelines, please check our video description. Keep yourself up to date. Subscribe to our channel, so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos.